Hey y'all, iRick Sky here, and I wanted to do a Sony G-Master 16-35mm, that's the 16-35GM initial impressions test. Now this particular video I am filming with the 16-35GM, and I do have a UV filter on it, and the microphone and the camera body and the tripod that I'm using. You can expand this video's description and then click the links there and you can find all of my equipment. But I wanted to just provide a quick initial impressions video in regards to the 16-35 G-Master. So from a build quality perspective, it's what one might expect from Sony's high-end lens, high-end zoom lens range, and they also make primes. But for primes, I like Zeiss. I don't, maybe I should mess with some of the G-Master primes. But this lens from a build quality perspective is exceptional. Unlike the larger, or the, it is larger physically, but also, longer reach. Unlike the larger 24-70 G-Master, the 24-70 GM, the 16-35 GM seems to be a lot more manageable. It doesn't seem to make my camera body as front heavy as the 24-70 GM did. That lens was phenomenal, but it was just kind of big and kind of heavy. This lens is great because when I'm hiking, backpacking, that sort of stuff, where I really want to capture the environment, but I also want to capture some semi-tight shots like this that I'm filming at 35mm face on video type segments, and I move, so I'm going to make sure I'm still in the camera's field of view. That's one thing that I'm looking forward to from Sony Alpha in the future, is if they bring us Sony Alpha cameras that have what's the word for it, a forward-facing LCD on the back. Because what I do now is use this little app, and it works, and I can tell if I'm in the camera's field of view. But I would rather just look at the camera and not have to, use any of my smartphone battery. But yeah, the build quality of the 16-35 GM, exceptional. The lens hood that comes with it is nice. It does use some plastic type materials in the construction of the lens, but it by no means feels cheap. And it's super heavy. I shouldn't say super heavy. I should say it feels very solid. It's not a lightweight and cheap feeling lens. It's got some weight to it. It's got a lot of heft to it. So, it's apparent that that the build quality seems to be great. Obviously, I treat all of my lenses, all of my camera bodies, all of my drones and everything with very gentle hands. I don't want to damage my electronics. But with that being said, I feel like if this, when I do have it, and I'm not using this, if I'm not using this lens, I'm using another lens, and I've got it in my backpack, I'm going to have it in a little protective sleeve. Speaking of that, this lens came with a little carrying pouch thing. And in my opinion, although it's very nicely made and it's got like a shoulder strap or whatever, that's a big bag. I would have much rather Sony had included some sort of water-resistant neoprene type, form-fitting suit for the 16-35 GM. That would have been a lot better. But that's a small gripe. I'm not going to use the lens bag that came with it anyway. This is probably going to be primarily my primary walk-around lens that's going to remain mated to my camera most of the time. And then if I need to do any sort of portraiture or anything like that, I'm going to slap on my 85mm Zeiss Batis to get that really, really cool, up close and personal, dissolved background, those professional looking photos. But for landscape photography, adventure videography, really capturing that wide field of view, this lens is going to be my go-to lens. And you can see the quality right now. I'm filming this in autofocus. I don't know if I mentioned earlier, but I am using f2.8 35mm ISO auto. And again, you can find the camera body and the microphone and the tripod that I'm using. Expand this video's description. But there's no complaints that I have so far. And some of the photos that I've taken with the, and again, first day in the field, but some of the photos have just been phenomenal, especially waterfalls, things where you capture the really, where the wideness of the 16mm really makes it look, just exceptional. So I'm very happy, and this lens is definitely a keeper, and it's definitely a lens that'll probably get a lot more use than my 25 Zeiss Batis did. And that lens, that is a nice lens, but it's a fixed focal length at 25. So with this, I have the flexibility of going all the way from 16 to 35 as the task demands. And again, if I need to do portraiture or something like that, I'll slap on my 85mm and get that really good, just super high-end professional look. But tell me what you think. Is the video quality good? How's the autofocus? Oh, and that's another thing. The autofocus on this, very quiet. So when I'm filming video segments, unlike some other lenses where you hear zzz, you know, those sorts of sounds, you don't get that with this. And that's another win for the 16-35GM. So super happy. Very big looking lens. When I'm looking at it right now, it's very large, and that's kind of cool though. You know, makes you feel like the boss. You know, when you're out there doing stuff, you know, it makes you feel good. So just a good lens. Subscribe, ring that bell icon, tell me what you think in the comment section below. And again, for all of this equipment, expand this video's description and then click the links there and you can find where to order it all online. Thanks for your viewership and you have a good day. And if there's anything else that you would like to see me field test with this lens, let me know, because I'm looking to, you know, put it through its paces, everything from photos to videos. I mean, I'm not going to damage the lens, so, you know, no sort of durability testing or any of that, so don't even ask. But anything in the field that you'd like me to try to test other than that, I'll be happy to try to do it. Y'all have a good day. Hey y'all, iRick Sky here. Thanks again for your viewership. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and ring that bell icon to be notified whenever I post another video. If you're looking for iRick Sky's Adventure Channel merch, like this t-shirt and a lot of other cool stuff, expand this video's description. You can find it all there. Y'all have a good day.